the woman accidentally discovered a large group of flesh-eating insects in the research building. These insects could devour a person completely, leaving nothing behind. But she didn't tell her husband or son. Instead, she took an unrelated female colleague to the pharmacy. She spread mugwort on the ground and sprayed powerful insecticide. Her husband's family couldn't help but laugh, thinking she was crazy, but only she knew this was the only way to stay alive. In the previous life, they had been attacked by these flesh-eating insects. The slower ones were devoured on the spot, with nothing left. While fleeing, the woman saved her son, but her husband suddenly struck her with a stick. What shocked her more was that her son jumped up unharmed. It was then she realized her son wasn't her biological child. Her husband had already conspired with the scheming woman, marrying her only to steal research funding, and her biological son had been swapped at birth, thrown into the mountains to freeze to death. Now, facing danger, her husband struck her to block the pursuit of the flesh-eating insects and buy time. Thus, the woman was slowly devoured by the insects. She wasn't willing to die like this, and just then, she was reborn 2 days ago. At first, she thought she had just had a nightmare, but then she heard the news about a forest fire. They were trapped at the research base. Her father-in-law also came to urge them to search for insects. This scene was exactly like the one in her dream. At this point, she realized in horror that it wasn't a dream, but that she had been reborn. As her husband's family prepared to leave, the woman, though wishing they would die sooner, knew she couldn't escape without their help moving the trees blocking the road. So, she reluctantly had to stop them. But when the woman told them there were flesh-eating insects, they all mocked her, thinking she had lost her mind. Her husband's family believed they were experts in insect research, and completely ignored what she said. Just then, the research assistant came over. The woman quickly told her about the flesh-eating insects, but her husband impatiently told her, if she didn't want to go, then don't. He then took his family into the forest, unaware that along their path, people's clothing had already been eaten, leaving only tatters. At this point, the assistant told the woman that insects were normal in the forest, and she assured her the base had protective incense, that the insects couldn't get in. She then ignored the woman and took her upstairs to rest. As soon as she entered the room, the woman saw the fan and immediately remembered the previous life. The assistant had been injured by a fan blade, and when fleeing, the flesh-eating insects devoured her first due to the smell of blood. So, the woman hurriedly stopped the assistant, warning her that the fan blades would soon fly out. The assistant didn't believe her, saying the fan was new and wouldn't have any problems. Just then, the director entered the room, and hearing the assistant's words, he didn't believe the fan would break either. But the next second, the fan blade flew out. Fortunately, the woman quickly pulled the assistant away. Both of them, shaken, began to believe her. At this moment, the husband brought back the insect queen. The woman was terrified as soon as she saw it. She quickly urged them to throw the insect queen away. It was the insect queen hatching in the previous life. That attracted a swarm of flesh-eating insects, but her husband's family didn't believe her. Even her father-in-law said, with the insect's body structure, it was impossible for it to eat people. Her husband was too lazy to listen to her nonsense, and directly prepared to hatch the insect queen. At this point, the woman couldn't stop them from hatching the insect queen. So, she took the assistant to the pharmacy, covered the floor with mugwort, and prepared to hide from the insect attack, because she knew it was the drugs in the pharmacy that masked the human scent in the previous life that allowed them to avoid the flesh-eating insects. After setting everything up, she saw her husband's family excitedly hatching the insect queen. To speed up the process, her husband even used a flashlight to shine on the insect eggs. As the temperature rose, the eggshells began to crack. The insect queen was about to hatch. Her husband's family was thrilled, thinking they were about to witness the birth of something incredible, and they would become the world's top biological figures. But at that moment, thousands of flesh-eating insects sensed the birth of the insect queen. They quickly rushed toward the base.